Are you struggling to figure out how to build your first oil factory? In this video, we're diving into the world of oil refinement in Satisfactory, and we're going to level up your oil game with some easy blueprints. I'm going to show you how to construct a starter oil plant, making plastic and rubber, and generate some bonus power while we're at it. If you're new to oil and Satisfactory, you probably just unlocked the blueprint machine, so this is the perfect opportunity to make some blueprints to save you some time and effort. Let's get into it. We're here in the blue crater in the southeast corner of the map where there are a ton of oil nodes, including 3 pure ones. We've tapped a few of the normal nodes for this big old stack of fuel generators behind me. If you want to learn how to make 10,000 megawatts of power from just 300 cubic meters of oil per minute, like this plant does right here, check out the video linked above. Even with all that diluted fuel, we still have plenty of oil to go around, and I've tapped this pure node right here and brought the pipe out to here for our build over the water. A pure node puts out 240 cubic meters of oil per minute, so that is what we have in this pipe right here, ready to be turned into plastic and rubber. With the standard recipes, 1.5 crude oil per minute makes 1 rubber or 1 plastic per minute. So 240 oil per minute out of this node can make any combination of 160 rubber or plastic per minute. For today's build, we're going to go for 145 plastic and 15 rubber. This might seem like a weird split, but there is a method to my madness. This is sized so we can make 1 full manufacturer's worth of computers, 2.5 per minute, with traditional recipes. That only takes 45 plastic per minute, but that also takes 25 circuit boards per minute. And the traditional circuit board recipe is an absolute plastic hog, 30 plastic per minute for only 7.5 circuit boards per minute. So we need the other 100 plastic per minute just for circuit board production for our 2.5 computers per minute. With a little bit of oil left over, we'll do 1 refinery's worth of rubber, mainly to start up a little stockpile, so we have some for construction projects and milestone unlock. When you're ready to take on the space elevator parts for phase 3, 15 rubber is actually all you need for 1 manufacturer's worth of modular engines, but you can always just tap another oil node for more rubber, or go back and overclock this one when you unlock Mark II pipes. Once you decide what and how much to build, you face another new decision: what to do with the byproduct of plastic and rubber production, heavy oil residue. You have to fully use this up or your production will grind to a halt. And you have 2 options to do so: make fuel or make petroleum coke. We don't really have a good way to use fuel until tier 6, so petroleum coke it is. We'll talk about what to do with it in a little bit, but let's get started on our build. Each refinery takes in a pipe and puts out a pipe and a product on conveyors. All of this belt and pipe work can be pretty annoying to build in an organized way, so I wanted to show you a quick little trick on a blueprint that makes this build a little bit easier and quicker. We're going to do all our belt and pipe work here 1 time instead of doing it 15 times in the build, and this allows you to maybe take a little bit more time to make your work organized and help your factories be walkable and all that type of stuff. You might take the time to do something better once that you wouldn't take the time to do 15 times during your build. Get our stackable conveyor pole, and we'll put it right up against the edge of the blueprint machine. So not here, doesn't let you, and right up against the edge of the machine, not there, but here. Same on the other side. Get out our pipe, get our junction cross, make it flat, hit control to line it up with the hole. Grab your pipe. There you go. Input's done. In this case, it's just going to be liquids going in, liquids and solids going out. And we'll do the same thing for pipes. But first, let's deal with our solids. We'll get out our merger and put it right up against the blueprint as far as it goes, like this. Just decide which direction you want your output to go. I want it to go that way. And we're going to stack this up 4 high. Make sure your output is going the way that you decided right there. And then delete all the ones underneath. Okay, we'll go around here, get out our conveyor lift, and we'll put it on the machine. It looks like it's not going to fit, but you can even hear and see that when you put it on, it will just pop into the splitter, and that's fine. That will work. It actually looks pretty good, I think. I mean, I guess technically it's clipping, but I think it looks like it's really built into it. That's going to be the solution for our belts. We're going to do the same thing for pipes on this side that we did on the other side. Get out your stackable conveyor pole and go to town. So there you go, a nice blueprint to put down about 12 times, I think, in this build, where we're keeping our pipes off the ground, keeping our factory walkable, and then keeping our solids and pipes on this side off the ground, keeping our factory walkable and nice and organized. This will definitely save us some time in our build, and a good example of how to use a blueprint just to make your life just a little bit easier. Now that we've made our blueprint, another good tip is that you can add blueprints to your hotbar. So you go to your blueprints where you have it saved and just press whatever number that you want. So now it's number 8 down here in my hotbar. I hit 8 and then I get the whole blueprint right here. And our blueprint is 4 foundations wide, so it should fit perfectly here on the little platform that I have laid out. Let's put down 8 of these for our plastic. One thing you do want to be careful with blueprints as you're laying them out though is to get them lined up before you click, because you can put them down with one click, but you can't delete them with one click. So that will take you a little bit of time if you get going a little bit too fast and screw up. Believe me, I know from experience, dude. Then after we put them down, all we need to do is hook in the belts and the pipes. I'm using Mark III belts here because that's probably what you're going to have at this stage in the game. And Mark III belts are pretty easy to make in large quantity because this steel beams come out pretty fast. Definitely a lot easier than reinforced plates for a Mark II belt. So I advise to switch over to Mark III as fast as you can. Okay, easy as that. With blueprints, we got 8 refineries with pipes and conveyor belts hooked up in basically no time at all. So this will give us our plastic. So let's put on our recipes. So we'll just take a look at this again. We have plastic. We're getting 30 crude oil per minute, getting out 20 plastic per minute. So I'm going to pop these recipes on as well. These 8 will make 160 plastic per minute. So this would actually use all of our oil. We do want to save a little bit for rubber. So this last one, we're going to underclock to make 5 plastic per minute. Then that will leave some oil left over for our rubber refinery, which we're going to put down right here, right next door. So we'll hook up the pipes here on this side together, but we don't want to hook up the belts on the other side because one will be rubber and one will be plastic. In fact, I'm going to change the color of this one to black just to make sure I know that it is rubber. Okay, we want our rubber to go down here to meet the end of our plastic as well. We want to do it in an organized way. So get out your lift, and to get the placement right for this, we can't output it here because that's an input. So we need to get it here, but it's over the pipe. So we're gonna have to get our lift up and do a little work here. So get your lift, and you want it in the middle of this row is where I want it. Line it up with your merger and move it over 1, 2, 3, 4 spots. Turn the output this way, click, and then you get the height adjustment. You want to turn the input towards where you're going, and then make sure it's on the same height as your splitter, like that. And then that should, emphasis on should, be a 90-degree angle. Yes. And then we can just run our belt out of the bottom of this lift down here. You can do the same thing on this side for our plastic as well. We just want it to be a little bit closer so it's on this inner row. There you go. You have your rubber output and your plastic output. Do whatever you want with them. You can take them on a belt, on a train, on a tractor, on a factory cart, whatever you feel like doing with them. We got plastic, we got rubber. What is left to do? Well, what is left to do is deal with this heavy oil residue. If you are new to oil, this is the first time that you're facing a byproduct. And you can see we're making rubber as our primary product, but it's also creating heavy oil residue that frankly, sometimes you don't want. Remember I talked about before, we're gonna turn this byproduct heavy oil residue into petroleum coke, and then also have to use that as well. So we need to make 3 refineries to get rid of this heavy oil residue right here next door. We'll do 3 more refineries and we'll just use the same blueprint. We actually don't need the pipes coming out of this one, but it's got the solids in there, so why not just use the exact same one? It's not really hurting us at all. So we'll move this one over just a little bit. I'm gonna turn this one around because we're gonna use our heavy oil residue out of the back of that refinery when we want it to come into this one. So let's turn it around. We'll put it down there, and then we'll make 3 of these in a row. And then hook up the input pipes and then the output belts. One thing I like to do as well, just to make sure I know what I'm doing, is change my pipes to be the same color as the thing that I'm outputting. And these are going to be putting heavy oil residue. So I'm just going to make these purple here so I know what the contents are. So now we know that's HOR. So now we're going to get our pipe and then hook our heavy residue output from our original 9 refineries here to the 3 heavy oil residue refineries. And so the recipe that we want here is petroleum coke. It uses up heavy oil residue. It uses 40 per minute. We're going to be outputting something like 87. That's why we need 3 refineries worth of this. We're going to be outputting quite a bit of petroleum coke, just under the limit for our Mark III belt, which is 270 per minute. We'll be just under it, like 260 per minute. So we should be okay to only run 1 belt of petroleum coke. We're now using all of the heavy oil residue, but now we need to use up all of the petroleum coke. If we don't, the heavy oil residue will back up which will back up the oil refinery, and the whole system will seize up. No rubber, no plastic. Again, we have two options. We can send our petroleum coke to the awesome sink, or we can burn it in a coal generator. It's certainly easy to set up an awesome sink, but I think it's worth the trouble to grow your power grid at this stage in the game. We're going to build 11 coal generators to burn our coke, which will add around 800 megawatts of power. This will actually power all of the 12 refineries that we just built and give us another 500 megawatts to use on whatever else we need to make. Since we're putting down 11 coal generators, I thought it would also make sense to make a simple blueprint to make our lives a little bit easier with these as well. So let's put down 2 coal generators here. You can just put it lined up right with that back edge, as far back as it will let you go. Put down 2 coal generators like so. So if we look at our coal generators, as you guys probably know, they do take water. It takes 45 cubic meters of water per minute, along with our petroleum coke to make some power. So a lot of people will make up coal generators with 8 coal generators with 3 water extractors, meaning the water extractor makes 360 water, and that's enough for 8 coal generators. But I don't really like doing that because you have to make sure the pipes are lined up. It's actually more that can be held in a Mark 1 pipe. So we're not going to do that. We're going to use 1 water extractor for every 2 coal generators. And we're going to set up this blueprint to make it easy to just plug in a water generator and off you go. We're going to take our splitter out and go at 1, 2, 3, 4. And we're going to have the coal come in from that side where the input is coming. We're going to put one down there. And then we'll also put one here in front of this coal gen. But just to mark where we're going to have it, we're going to make this 4 high, just like we did on the other side. Make sure you have the input in the right place, and then delete the ones on the bottom. Get out your lift and do the same thing we did on the other side. Plug it straight in. That'll be at the same height as output on that side, so that should make it convenient to plug in if we do it at the same height. So just repeat yourself and do the same thing here. So for this, I am going to have my pipes on the ground because I just don't want to have to worry about head lift or anything with the water extractor. So I'm going to place down a pipe junction right here in between the 2 coal gens right here. We're going to make the pipe go straight in here. We'll put in our pipe here as well. We won't be able to stick it straight in because I don't want it to look like that. I want it to be a right angle. So I'm going to go line this up with it. Go back 2, click it, and then put it in. So I like a nice right angle. A freak. So then we're going to put down a bunch of pairs of these. And then when we have our water extractors in, we'll just plug them straight into this pipe, and then we'll be ready to go. This will just save us a little bit of time. And now that we have our blueprints ready, we're going to put down our 11 coal gens, and we're just going to build it right off the back of these refineries here. We'll have the petroleum coke come out and around these refineries. We can't avoid these things. We can't cut them down, so we're actually going to avoid them. Start your platform right here, and I'm going to go out 5. Now we have our platform set up. Let's get out our coal generators, and we're going to put first one's right on the edge like so, and this will make it easy for us to plug in our water extractors here on the front. And then just keep going down. We're going to put down 11 of these things. We'll actually end up putting down 12, but that's okay. Unless you're really hard up for resources, you can always tear the other one down and get your resources back if you need to. Now we need to put down our water extractor for each of these pairs. So we'll get out a water extractor and put down 6 of these. And you can even hit control to line up with that opening when you have the pipe down there first. It'll help you keep it a little bit organized. These are also spaced out perfectly where you can have 1 water extractor in front of 2 coal gens like that. They're the perfect width, like they planned it or something. You just got to go in and hook up the pipes. This is definitely another one where our blueprints are just making things a lot easier. This is normally quite a bit more fiddly when you're doing this without blueprints and you have to do everything manually. This just helps you have a nice little system for every pair that makes it nice and simple to make. It's actually a good opportunity to use our half foundations here to kind of fill this in and give us a place to put our power line, which you will have to have these half foundations unlocked from the awesome shop to make this work. So one of the things I'd like to do is leave a factory, build the entire thing, and not send the ingredients through it. And let's just see how I did to see if I screwed up, missed a belt, missed a pipe, missed a power, missed putting on recipes. It's always fun to test myself. So I'm going to go ahead and hook up all the power, and then we'll have the grand tester here in just a moment. Okay, it looks like we got some plastic going, so that is good. Do we have any heavy oil residue? Starting to come out a little bit. Oh, yeah, I guess I did screw up quite a bit I forgot an absolutely massive part. I never hooked up our petroleum coke output to our coal generators, or even hooked up our coal generators together with a belt. So yeah, a little bit of an oversight. Let me get back to that and I'll get back to you. Okay, now that little mistake has been rectified, that huge mistake has been rectified, let's get a sense of where our factory is at. All right, so oil is reached all the way down here to the end. We're even making a little bit of rubber as well. As you can see, our plastic is going strong. So coming all the way down here to the end means we probably should be getting a little bit more heavy oil residue in our pipe. And it's still pretty low. And that's still pretty low because I forgot to hook up a pipe right here. I knew it. I knew it was going to be in there somewhere. There we go. Like, how could it possibly have ran for this long and not put out one piece of petroleum coke? Should have been a clue. All right. So here we're going to start outputting petroleum coke, and we'll see it come around here on the conveyor belt like so. And we see it hit the coal gen, the smoke starts coming out, and the power starts coming out as well. And the one thing you have to make sure of is all the byproduct being used. Are these refineries clearing themselves of heavy oil residue? Yes, they are. And then we need to make sure that these refineries down here are clearing themselves of petroleum coke. So if you do want to save a little bit of power as well, you can actually underclock these down to 90, because these coal gens only use 90 water per minute. So you can do that to save your bit of power as well. Looks like everything is running very well. One might call it a well-oiled machine. This starter oil build will get you set up right for the rest of the game with some extra power, all the plastic that you need for your first computer factory, and even a useful amount of rubber. If you like this video, the best thing that you can do is head to my channel and check out some more of my videos. I have a ton of content like this, and you can check out my big factory builds while you're at it. So I hope you enjoyed the video today. Until next time, I'm DrLootCrate, and stay stoked out there.